If you're passionate about automotive history and the rarest vehicles ever created, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and click the notification bell. This channel is your exclusive gateway to the world's most extraordinary cars, and today we're exploring what many consider the holy grail of collector cars. The 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO, a machine so rare, so beautiful, and so historically significant that one example sold for $70 million in 2018. Making it the most expensive car ever sold in a private transaction. But what makes this Italian masterpiece command such astronomical sums? Why do billionaires and royal families battle for the privilege of ownership? The story begins in 1962, when Enzo Ferrari faced an existential threat from rival Jaguar and their dominant E-Type. Ferrari needed a race car that could reclaim supremacy in the FIA GT Championship, a competition that demanded vehicles be road-legal production cars, not just purebred racers. Engineer Giotto Bizzarini and designer Sergio Scaglietti were tasked with creating this ultimate driving machine. What they delivered was a vehicle so perfectly balanced between beauty and function that it has become the benchmark by which all GT cars are judged. Only 36 examples were ever produced between 1962 and 1964, each one slightly different, each one meticulously crafted by hand, each one a testament to automotive art at its finest. The 250 in its name refers to the displacement of each cylinder, 250 cubic centimeters, making the total engine displacement 3.0 liters from its legendary Colombo 512. This power plant wasn't just any engine. It was the culmination of Ferrari's racing knowledge, delivering 300 horsepower through a 5-speed manual transmission in an era when most road cars struggled to produce half that figure. What made the GTO truly special wasn't just raw performance. It was the perfect harmony of engineering. Weighing just 2,400 pounds thanks to its aluminum body, the car achieved a power-to-weight ratio that remained unmatched for years. The aerodynamic shape wasn't created in a wind tunnel, but sculpted by intuition and experience, with its distinctive tail designed to maximize stability at speeds exceeding 170 miles per hour on the Mulsanne Straight at Le Mans. Every GTO that exists today has a documented history, a provenance that reads like automotive royalty. These aren't just cars, they're the mechanical equivalent of a Picasso or a Rembrandt, appreciating in value with each passing year, cherished by collectors who understand they aren't owners, but merely custodians of automotive history. The 250 GTO wasn't built to sit in climate-controlled garages. It was created for one purpose: domination on the racetrack. And dominate it did. In its competitive debut at the 12 Hours of Sebring in 1962, the GTO finished second overall and first in its class, with Phil Hill and Olivier Gendebien at the wheel. This was just the beginning of its remarkable racing career. The FIA GT Championship became the GTO's playground. From 1962 to 1964, it secured 3 consecutive World Manufacturers' Championships for Ferrari, an unprecedented achievement that cemented its place in motorsport history. Consider this. In the 1963 Tour de France automobile, a grueling 10-day, 3,400-mile race combining track racing and high-speed road stages, GTOs finished first, second, third, and fourth. This wasn't just victory, it was absolute domination. At the notoriously dangerous Nürburgring 1,000 kilometers, the GTO demonstrated its perfect balance of speed and handling. The 14-mile Nordschleife circuit, with its 160 corners and dramatic elevation changes, was considered the ultimate test of both car and driver. Here, the GTO's lightweight construction and perfect weight distribution made it nearly unbeatable. What's remarkable is that these GTOs would often be driven to the race, compete for 24 hours at Le Mans or 1,000 kilometers at Spa, and then driven home by their owners. This dual-purpose capability, a thoroughbred racer that could be used on public roads, represents a golden era of motorsport we'll never see again. The victories weren't just about Ferrari's engineering prowess. They were achieved by legendary drivers, men like Stirling Moss, Graham Hill, and Phil Hill. Belgian racing driver Lucien Bianchi described the GTO as the perfect balance between handling and power. British champion Mike Parkes called it the most satisfying racing car I ever drove. The GTO's racing career wasn't without drama. At the 1962 Le Mans, chassis number 3705 GT suffered a catastrophic crash at 160 miles per hour. The car was written off, but remarkably, the driver walked away. This incident led to subtle aerodynamic improvements in subsequent production models, showing Ferrari's commitment to constant evolution. Perhaps the most famous GTO, chassis 3851 GT, won the 1962 Tour de France, conquered the hill climb at Olon-Villars in Switzerland with Carlo Abbott driving, and secured a class win at the Nürburgring 1,000 kilometers. This single car's racing history spans 15 major victories in just 2 seasons, a testament to the model's dominance beyond its racing pedigree. The 250 GTO represents a masterclass in automotive engineering that was decades ahead of its time. Let's examine what makes this machine so exceptional from a technical standpoint. While we've mentioned the Colombo V12 engine, what we haven't discussed is its revolutionary design. Unlike most V12s of the era, Ferrari's 60-degree V12 featured a single overhead camshaft per cylinder bank, with 2 valves per cylinder. The engine block and heads were cast from lightweight alloy, not iron, dramatically reducing weight over the front wheels. One of the GTO's most innovative features was its dry sump lubrication system. Unlike conventional engines that store oil in a pan beneath the crankshaft, the GTO used a separate oil tank. This served 2 crucial purposes. It allowed the engine to sit lower in the chassis for improved center of gravity, and it prevented oil starvation during high-G cornering on the racetrack. Each GTO engine was essentially hand-built and bench-tested for 24 hours before installation. No two were exactly alike, and power outputs varied between 295 and 310 horsepower depending on the specific tuning and component selection. The tubular steel frame of the GTO represented another breakthrough. Using Ferrari's Tipo 539/62 Tuboscassa chassis as a starting point, engineers added innovative triangular bracing and strategic reinforcement points that created exceptional torsional rigidity while keeping weight to an absolute minimum. The suspension system featured independent front suspension with coil springs and telescopic shock absorbers, while the rear used a live axle with semi-elliptical leaf springs and telescopic shock absorbers, a seemingly old-fashioned setup that was perfectly tuned for the racing regulations of the era. The 5-speed synchro mesh transmission was mounted directly to the rear axle in a transaxle configuration, another weight distribution innovation that helped achieve the GTO's near-perfect 47/53 front/rear balance. The tall gear lever required a firm hand and precise movements, with a distinctive mechanical feel that modern drivers describe as communicative rather than difficult. The bodywork, crafted entirely from aluminum, was shaped by Scaglietti, based on wind tunnel testing conducted at the University of Pisa. The distinctive tail design with its abrupt cam-style cutoff wasn't just stylistic. It reduced aerodynamic drag while providing downforce at high speeds. The front featured carefully designed air intakes that channeled cooling air to the brakes and engine, while hood vents expelled hot air from the engine bay. Each body panel was hand-formed over wooden bucks by master craftsmen using hammers and English wheels. No two GTOs are identical in their body dimensions. This handcrafted approach allowed Ferrari to continually evolve the design throughout the production run, incorporating lessons learned from racing. The legacy of the 250 GTO extends far beyond its racing achievements or technical innovations. It has become the cornerstone of Ferrari mythology and the pinnacle of automotive collectability. The journey from race car to blue-chip investment began in the late 1970s, when collectors first recognized these cars weren't just old racers, but historically significant artifacts. By 1986, a GTO sold for $1 million, a staggering sum at the time. By 1989, that figure had reached $10 million. The price continued its meteoric rise, with $20 million in 2010, $38 million at Bonham's auction in 2014, and the record-shattering $70 million private sale in 2015. 2018. The GTO's DNA lives on in Ferrari's modern vehicles. The limited production LaFerrari, the F12 TDF, and even the current 296 GTB all draw inspiration from the GTO's philosophy. Lightweight, perfect balance, and race-derived technology adapted for road use. Ferrari themselves paid homage to the original with the 1984 288 GTO and the 2011 599 GTO, both extraordinary vehicles in their own right. Yet neither has achieved the mythical status of the original, proving that some legends simply cannot be replicated. What makes the 250 GTO uniquely valuable goes beyond statistics or history. It represents the perfect confluence of form and function, of art and engineering. In an era of increasingly computerized and homogenized automotive design, the GTO stands as a testament to human creativity, craftsmanship, and the pursuit of perfection. Each surviving GTO has its own unique story. The races won, the crashes survived, the restoration challenges overcome, and the succession of owners who have served as its caretakers. These narratives add layers of provenance that make each example not just a car, but a historical document that continues to be written. The Ferrari 250 GTO will likely remain the pinnacle of collector cars for generations to come. In a world of cryptocurrency, NFTs, and digital assets, these tangible masterpieces represent something increasingly rare: authentic human achievement captured in metal, glass, and leather. Something you can touch, hear, smell, and experience with all your senses. For those of us who will never own one, we can still appreciate what the GTO represents: the pinnacle of an era when racing truly improved the breed, when drivers were heroes, and when automotive excellence was measured not by computers, but by the passion it evoked in those fortunate enough to experience it. If you enjoyed this deep dive into automotive royalty, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. In our next episode, we'll explore another legendary machine that changed automotive history forever. Until then, keep the passion for automotive excellence alive.